If I could change the world, I would put you in my ass and you'd live there. I would put you inside of my fucking ass. If I could change the world, I would make you tiny and put you in my ass. You could control me with a bunch of levers and make me move. It wouldn't be gay, it'd be some kind of robot. It wouldn't be gay. It wouldn't be gay. I would be a robot, not a gay man. I'd be some kind of big robot, or I'd be regular size and you'd be tiny. It wouldn't be gay, you'd have to control me with wires and buttons. I would be some sort of mech or rogue Gundam. I would be a Gundam, and you would just live in my ass.
Yes.
And people ask me, you know, obviously this song is filled with symbolism, and you know, I'm always surprised because it's probably one of the most literal songs.
Right? Yes. People ask me, Eric, what's the song about?
They're like, Eric, this was the second song you made after your son's unfortunate
one of the
death.
most literal songs I've ever written. It's quite frankly, if I could change the universe,
Tears in Heaven was about my son dying, but
I would make myself either very large, or I would select, you know, a pilot is my preferred, to live inside my ass. Live inside my ass. Control me as if I were a giant robot.
Right.
wouldn't be
that's
changing
true.
much about the world.
It would be. That was
I have no idea what a
man in
speaking
the
voice
ass.
sounds like.
I don't either.
Something like that.
Yeah.
He's pretty chill though. Cocaine.
Yeah.
He loves
That's
cocaine.
cool, dude. Yeah,
Bada,
that's
bada,
cool.
bada, bada. I remember listening to that song when I was like 12 and being like, hell yeah, dude, I love
Yeah.
cocaine.
I could shrink you down and let you live inside my ass.
I'm not gay. Bada, bada, bada. It's not gay. It's not gay.
You could control me with a bunch of levers. Is, you know, they say that an artist should always diversify, but I always thought that the most interesting thing to me lyrically is exploring the same theme over and over again.
Right. Right.
Allowing the instrumentation to change, because then you really challenge yourself.
Yep.
Because people are going to say, no matter what, the instant criticism is going to be, you've already covered this.
Yeah.
We know you want to be either a giant robot or have a partner of some sort that's shrunken down to live inside your ass.
Right.
To control you with wires and levers.
That's right.
we know this about you, Eric.
Everybody knows that.
We're familiar with this.
That's why Cream has to break up.
Yeah.
You keep talking about it.
When I was with the Yardbirds, I was always pushing for some kind of, you know, we'd do live shows, and this was before Tool, who I really credit with changing the live.
Oh yeah, Tool.
I wanted to project a video of me as some kind of dying alien that's sick from doing too much meditation.
Right.
And Tool stole that idea. I said,
Really?
Yes,
Seems like
I
you
said,
had kind of a jump on
I
Tool.
wanted to, yes. Initially,
Yeah, like
I had the
30
idea
years.
of spending an $80 million laser show setup where there's a pyramid and we go inside the pyramid. It's very similar to a man going inside another man's ass.
Right.
Correct.
If I asked several people, and they told me it was impossible to do with lasers, that the only thing that lasers could create was some kind of alien that's throwing up from doing too much yoga.
Right. Not
It's
not
an
a guy in
alien
another guy's ass.
who's aligned his chakras to the extent that now he's dying in space prison.
It's too much. He's
Yeah.
too enlightened.
And they kicked me out of the band for that. And then,
Out of Tool.
yes, and
Eric Clapton was in Tool.
I had one interview with Tool. I was trying to be in Tool. And they stole my idea.
Well, that's so fucked.
So what are your, what's
I
your
submitted a
vision?
packet to Tool,
And
and I just saw my own bit there.
And then I had lunch with my best friend Paul McCartney. Probably. My very good friend
my
Paul.
best friend
Yeah,
Paul.
so- Paul.
The only guy I know, actually. And I told him, you know, I think where this went wrong, because this was the greatest tragedy in my life. Probably the worst thing that's ever happened to me was being rejected by Tool and then having them steal my idea for the sick alien.
It has to be painful.
Yes. And yeah, really nothing else rings a bell.
You can't really think about it.
My life's been pretty good.
Really?
I've had, yeah. It's been it's almost magical, really.
Right.
And I said to him, you know, I got to go back to the robot thing.
Do you know that?
I said
I need to get back to my roots.
this was all due to me departing from my original idea of solely pursuing one artistic expression my entire life, which is that I want to be, either a giant robot or a regular sized robot with a friend who lives inside my ass.
And that's when I wrote the song.
Thank you, Eric.
When I wrote the film, The Lion King, a lot of people don't know that I was actually the screenwriter of The Lion King.
Really?
Created the story and came up with it. And originally it was about...
Was Timon originally in Pumbaa's ass?
that was correct. It was, I imagined an ancient African golem who tricks a young lion cub into living in his ass.
Wow.
And the lion cub grows to full size inside of his ass. And it's very similar to the story of, I believe it was Hercules carrying an oxen
Right.
around his house or something.
Yeah, I believe so.
And he had a blue oxen, and as it grew older, that's what made him. That's how he became John Revere.
Right.
If you remember the Roman story of John Henry versus the Machine.
Right.
So we said,
Fable.
what if we did a version of that set in Africa?
There we go.
And that's where the Lion King came from. And at the time, I was really thinking a lot more about that robot. It's sort of a lifelong obsession.
Yeah.
And that derailed the story, and my interview to write The Lion King never went past that first interview.
You've interviewed for a lot of interesting showbiz jobs.
But they kept the name.
being
One
in
of
Tool.
the greatest tragedies of my life was being declined for the position of head screenwriter of The Lion King. And they stole my idea.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like it was a different idea.
No.
I went
similar.
in 1983. I went to Disney and I said, "Let's do a children's movie set in Africa about a giant robot with a man that lives in his ass." And
Right. Called The Lion King?
it was called Terminator 2. And I can't prove it, obviously. But what happens? 10 years later,
Right.
They made Terminator 1.
Disney releases a movie set in Africa for children.
That's right.
And that
So
doesn't...
wait, I'm sorry. Had Terminator 1 come out?
No,
I'm sorry, but you don't
pitched
need to be-
Terminator 2, and then they had to make a Terminator 1 to steal his idea for Terminator
You don't need
2.
to be a giant crime-solving robot to figure out
Right, what happened with
what
a man in
happened
his ass?
with a man in his ass. Figure that out.
Who's pulling levers to control him?
It's not necessary. You can see clear as day what happened there, and they were so
It
intimidated
was
by
dastardly.
Yes.
Downright fucked up, Eric.
Yes.
Well, thanks for joining us for the first part of the Cumtown. We're trying to have more mainstream guests.
We're trying to become
That's
more
our
like
interview
Rogan.
with Eric Clapton, everyone.
Yeah, thanks
Do you have any
joining us.
questions for me? You can bust inside of my fucking pussy.